After that little pit stop.
Yeah, splash and dash.
Splash and dash.
Yeah.
I'm here with Mike.
Hello.
Can you read the number plate of that red car up there?
Yes, YX19HMZ.
He brought me a coffee. If you're coming to do a video, bring me a coffee. If you could identify where the engine coolant goes, and how would you check it?
This is coolant and should be between the minimum max line.
That'll do. It's freezing. Close it up. Mike has contacted me through Instagram. He is a PDI in training and he's looking to do a part 2 test. He's contacted me because he wants me to take him out. If you are a PDI or if you are a learner driver and you are interested in doing a mock test on the channel, then I'll put my Instagram down here. Follow me, send me a DM, and then we can talk about it. You followed me, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
That's nice. He'll probably unfollow me the moment he walks out the door.
Yeah.
The comedy keeps on coming. We're doing a part 2 mock test, and what that is an advanced driving test, effectively. Anyone who's not a driving instructor that's watching this content, if you are watching this content, this is one of the tests you have to pass in order to qualify as a driving instructor. Tell me a little bit about you.
I'm Mike. Cool. And
that's a bit of an open question there, isn't it? Tell me about your childhood. Tell me a little bit about your driving and your journey to this point.
So, done my part 1 and looking to do some training towards my part 2.
Part 1 is your theory test?
Part 1 is the theory test.
Part 2 is the driving test.
I am part of a group that are offering me some practice closer to my test date, and I was like, I don't think that's really enough.
Reached part out. Of a group. Are you trying? This is.
I'm trying to be PC.
This is not the BBC, buddy.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
You've signed up with one of the larger.
Yes.
Driving schools.
Yes.
To do your training. Okay.
Yes.
And you have you done any training at all?
No.
Okay, so all his training has been online?
Yes, yes,
yes.
yes.
And you've
I've
been
tried
practicing.
to do a few bit of practicing driving and through online materials and videos. Your lovely videos.
Always a good idea. Okay, it's not recommended really to go and sit a part 2 test without having done any training. You're not the first person to do that.
Good.
Daz's video, or Darren came from Ireland. He also wanted to do something similar. He had a good account for himself. He put a good. Do you know what? He did well.
Yes, he did well. He put up a good fight.
He did well. He did well. Another little quite interesting fact here is, how old are you?
Fairly young, 23.
It's not normally that you find people of your age that are doing this.
I think it's plus 10.
Nothing wrong with that if you've got your head in the right place. How many years have you been driving?
6 years.
6 years. Okay, tell me how you check that your brake lights were working.
I would press the brake, either ask someone to check for me or look for reflections in shop windows and against the wall or something like that.
I like that. Tell me where you get the information for the recommended tyre pressures for your car and how do you check them?
It's in the vehicle owner's manual, inside the door, and use a decent known tyre gauge. Can't think of the right word for that.
Reliable?
Yeah, that's the word. I was getting there. A reliable tyre gauge.
It's catching, isn't it?
Yeah. Check the pressures and check when it's cold. Check all 5 if you've got a spare, unless you've got an inflation kit, and then put the dust cap back on afterwards.
Legendary. This guy knows his show me, tell me questions. If you are training as a PDI for your part 2, make sure you know your show me, tell me questions, because to pick up faults for those would be a complete waste, wouldn't it? At all times, I like to follow the road ahead unless I said to turn left or turn right, unless road signs indicate. Otherwise, if I need you to turn, I'll tell you in good time. We're going to take in 2 reversing manoeuvres, possibly an emergency stop, although very likely on a part 2. We are going to be following the sat-nav for a period of approximately 20 minutes. Yeah, that'll be your independent driving. If you're not sure where we're going at any time, you can ask. Oh, just like always, like, comment and subscribe. It's got to happen, hasn't it? Just like always, like, comment and subscribe, because it really does boost the channel. The video, pushes the video out. If you've got somebody who you think would benefit from this video, share it with them, send it to them, say, look, check this out, because this guy's amazing. And this guy, he's here. You're happy this is all going on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Instagram and wait a minute, what's going on here? Yeah. No one told me nothing. No. You're happy it's all going to be on YouTube? Okay, brilliant, that's fine. All right, so when we see you next, we'll be starting this thing, apparently. If you would like to start your engine for me, please.
I'd love to.
So whenever you're ready, drive on,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you could just take that first road on the right there for me, please.
First road on the right.
Mike starts with a good all-round check.
Now I want to put this test into perspective. He has had 0 training. So overall, he does very well here today.
And then he's taking this next road on the right here, yeah?
His mirrors for signal are missing here, but he has just moved away from the side of the road, so I assume he knows there's nobody there.
Sharp, yeah.
Got to get used to the car, haven't you?
Yeah.
And the first thing I get him to do is to move away at an angle.
And if you could just pull up just before that grey car,
Yeah.
if you could leave about a car length of space, and in this instance, don't worry too much about driveways.
His mirror work is a little bit out of sync, but in this case I'm going to put it as not noteworthy. We've just started, and he does check them.
That'll do. Just enough space for you to move away. Brilliant. Okay. Drive on when you're ready.
Cool.
Again, a good all-round check. I just prefer his signal to come on after he's done his right blind spot. And then on this next junction, his mirrors again are just not right.
And at the end of the road here, if you could turn right for me, please.
Yep.
He seems to have a habit of checking his left wing mirror instead of the right. He does glance at the right wing mirror, it's just a little bit out of sync. But it's kind of what I would expect from a first session. This is technically his very first session. Cleaning up mirror work is generally the first thing on the agenda. Mike waits patiently for his gap and then takes it when it comes. Mike is now in a 20 zone and he picks up his speed to 22 miles an hour but then drops it straight back down again. So in this case, I'm going to put it as not noteworthy. He does pick up his speed appropriately though upon entering the 30 zone. Again, in this next section, his mirrors is a little bit lacking. I would expect a PDI on approaching these parked vehicles on the left-hand side, knowing they're going to move to the right, to have checked his centre mirror and his right mirror. This hasn't happened. However, there's nobody behind us.
And at the roundabout, if you could turn right for me, please.
Again, his mirrors for signal is inconsistent, so this is a driver fault for mirrors for signal. The roundabout, of course, he has no problem. Just around the bend, we're about to turn left into a car park where he's going to be doing the reverse bay park.
And if you could just take the next road on the left, which is into that car park, where that white car's just gone, please.
This time, though, he checks both mirrors and signals in good time.
And take this next road on the left here.
And then, of course, responds well to the road markings.
Once you've come around this bend, if you could do a reverse bay park into any bay left or right,
Okay.
anywhere you like, actually, in the car park, finishing off in between the lines. Okay?
He makes a mistake on his observations on this maneuver. He swings out to the right instead of using the reference point method, which is absolutely fine, but he's very late in checking his right blind spot, and I almost feel as if he checks it because I did. Have a look. Whether it's me that's given him the reminder or not, it is late. Is it possible to be a driver fault? Possibly, but on a mock part 2, this is a serious fault for observations on the reverse bay park.
Okay? You happy with that?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Believe so.
Fantastic. Drive on when you're ready.
Yep. Let's just auto go.
No all-round check as he goes to move away, but there's a hedge behind us and he's just parked it. He knows there's nobody there. So in this case, I'm going to put it as not noteworthy. But personally, I would suggest maintain consistency and keep things to a high level. We now make our way to the exit of the car park.
And then obviously take this next road on the right.
Yep. What's he doing?
There are question marks over this pedestrian, but Mike does the right thing and takes his time.
And then at the end of the road here, turn left.
Yep.
Mike again is patient and waits for his gap. There are pedestrians here, but with the refuge island, he's perfectly fine to drive through.
At the roundabout, follow the road ahead for me, please.
Yep.
The next 2 mini roundabouts he has no problems at all.
And then at the next roundabout, turn left.
He then deals with this tight section of road well. Mike has already demonstrated he's got a slight weakness with mirrors, and he's also got a weakness with signal. He's got a habit of signal and move with very little time in between. The first inclination that this could be a problem occurs on the next pull-up on the left.
Once you've gone around this bend,
Yeah.
the second bend, you can just find somewhere to pull up on the left in a safe place for me, please. Anywhere that you can find safe along here.
Just along here.
There is nobody behind us, but he starts to reduce speed, then eventually checks mirrors and signals at pretty much the same time, and then moves in. In this case, I'm going to put this as not noteworthy, but if you're training to be a driving instructor, the basics are very important.
So we're going to start the independent part of your
Yeah.
test. Independent drive, I should say. Okay, so we're going to be following sat nav for approximately 20 minutes, I hope.
And we'll end up somewhere.
We're going to end up somewhere. All right, so whenever you're ready, buddy, drive on.
Good all-round check, and off we go.
You will arrive at your destination at 12:06 p.m.
Okay.
At the end of the road, turn right, then go left on the roundabout and take the first exit.
At the end of this road, as he approaches the junction, he gets a little bit close to the vehicle in front. It's only for a moment, but always think tires on tarmac.
Turn right, then go left on the roundabout and take the first exit.
He then accidentally puts on the rear wiper.
Set off the rear one.
He doesn't know this car, but you can pick up faults for ancillary controls. If you needed to use one, you'd need to know where they are. And certainly if you switch one on, you need to know how to switch it off.
Go left on the
Set it
roundabout
off.
and take the first exit.
He can't figure out how to switch them off, so I help him
I
out.
can help you with that in a second, if you like. Being that this is not your car.
I'll have to flick something.
But if this was your car, or a car you've
The
hired,
switch right on the tip.
you'd pick up a driver fault.
Bring it down.
He then again gets too close to the vehicle in front. And unfortunately this time, he's forced to linger. When in traffic, always think about an escape route. And then almost on cue, a police car comes up behind us. He does manage to squeeze out of the way slightly, so at least it wasn't that close. But another example of why you should be tyres on tarmac from the vehicle in front. The traffic seems a little bit heavy, and we do eventually get moving. A little further up the road, I ask him how he's doing, and he drops his hands from the steering wheel.
You okay?
I'm lovely.
I like that. It's typical English response or
Yeah,
British
I'm
response.
splendid,
Is
yeah.
not bad, but yeah. I like that.
After 400 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
The car was still moving.
Sorry about my knee there, buddy, as well. It was slightly in
No,
your
it's
way there.
alright.
He did have full control of the car, but I would not expect a PDI in training to be dropping both hands from the steering wheel. That's a driver fault for steering. We eventually make our way through this traffic and we find ourselves going ahead at the apex corner roundabout.
After 100 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
So you've not driven around here at all, have you?
No, no idea.
Didn't mention that, did we, at the beginning?
Into the unknown.
Into the unknown.
New car for me and new area for me.
He does well here.
I'm more from North London. Well, norther than here.
He does check his left door mirror, which is essential as he's not in the left-hand lane, and then exits well into the right-hand lane of this dual carriageway. He then picks up his speed. He then holds this lane for a considerable amount of time, but if you notice, he is overtaking. It is possible, having just passed this vehicle, that he could have considered moving back to the left, but he is gaining on this other vehicle in front, and so is perfectly within his rights to maintain the right-hand lane. When he goes to move back to the left-hand position though, he again demonstrates his signal and move. And then my car gives him a heads up about a traffic light coming up.
Red light camera ahead.
That's not normal for a Part 2 or a Part 2 mock. Well, I guess he just gets a bit more information. I actually like what he's done here. He's got sufficient distance from the vehicle behind before he moves back to the left. But you've got to ask yourself, if you're going to signal, does it benefit anybody? And if you signal and then move straight away, what warning or what benefit does the vehicle behind get from the signal? Apart from the signal, I liked how he changed lanes there, so in this instance I'm going to put it as not noteworthy, but it's definitely one to keep an eye on.
After 400 yards, go left on the roundabout and take the second exit.
Mike does well here on this particular roundabout. It's a bit of a confusing route direction, but he does okay. He doesn't signal
Go
to
left
exit.
on the roundabout and take the second exit.
The question I have to ask myself though is, does he impact the vehicle that's waiting to emerge? Because the driver of the vehicle only has Mike's positioning and speed to read, I feel it delays its entrance into the roundabout only by a second or so. For this reason, this is a driver fault for signal necessary.
After 200 yards, go right on the roundabout and take the third exit.
On this roundabout he does just fine, but on the approach his mirrors for signal are again just a little bit off.
Go right on the roundabout and take the third exit.
He seems to prefer to check his centre mirror and his left mirror more than his right, and he checks his left wing mirror just before he changes position. So this is a driver fault for mirrors for signal. Again, I can't say he doesn't check his mirrors, they're just a little bit mixed up, something that would easily be fixed on a first session. But here he checks mirrors well and signals for exit in good time.
So I tend to be quite quiet when you guys are
That's
doing
fine.
these tests. Do you prefer to be spoken to a little bit?
Don't mind either way. Yeah.
You good? Some
I'm
people
good.
get really anxious when I'm not talking to them.
Nah.
But you're all
either
good.
or,
You're all
either
good.
or.
After
What a British
300
thing, isn't it?
yards, cross the roundabout and take the first exit.
I guess it's just nice to check. There's enough pressure in these tests as it is. Mike has no issue with this mini roundabout, and then we find ourselves waiting at a temporary traffic light. So let's jump ahead.
After 400 yards, go left on the roundabout and take the first exit.
We're now heading down to the roads that become national speed limit, and so his progress driving will now be tested.
Go left on the roundabout and take the first exit.
Good mirrors, good signal, and confidently takes this roundabout well. The national speed limit sign is just here on the left-hand side, and it's possible that he misses it because he doesn't pick up his speed. He drives no more than 40 miles an hour for this stretch. He's saved by some upcoming roadworks, but he should be picking up speed.
What a lovely place it is.
Sorry?
What a lovely place Watford is.
You like Watford?
No,
I've got a mate who lives in Watford.
it's not bad.
Tommy.
Tommy, yeah.
Tommy. Do a lot of content. I won't tell him you said that.
I didn't say anything about Tommy, just Watford.
So he wasn't really driving fast enough, but up ahead is the roadworks. There is a momentary gap in the traffic, but he makes the right choice by holding back as a car comes round the bend.
Again, quite an interesting place to have that, to be honest. I mean,
Yes.
obviously they're doing some work
Only
here.
that'd be traffic lighting, really.
Yeah. Think about that's on the bend there.
Could it have been managed better? Probably.
After 400 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
There are a number of roundabouts on this particular route, and some of them are very poorly marked. On this particular roundabout, the road markings are actually quite clear, and he picks the right lane, the correct lane for following the road ahead. But his exit signal is a little bit too early.
Cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
So this is a driver fault for signal timed. He does appear to cancel and then reapply, but if there had been a vehicle there looking to emerge, that could have been quite confusing. A little further up the road, I engage him in small conversation, and he loses slight control of his steering. He appears to look at me, and the steering goes to the right, which highlights why I try not to talk too much to the candidates.
Are these the kinds of roads you're used to driving on?
Yeah, I'd say so. Well, all sorts, really. I mean, everyone's going to say they hate town centres, but
I'm feeling bad now and slightly responsible. And once again, even though it's for a fraction of a second, he let go of the steering wheel.
I'd imagine it must be quite similar, yeah.
After 400 yards, cross the roundabout and take the second exit. Then keep left.
As I said before, some of these roundabouts are very poorly marked, and this is one of them, but he has no problems here whatsoever. Mike ultimately picks the safe position and picks the centre lane, but he once again relinquishes complete control of the steering wheel.
I cannot see any lane markings here at all, can you?
Cross the roundabout.
If it was a
and take
racetrack,
the
it'd be
second
great.
exit. Then keep left.
no road markings, but should have some nice road markings. Be nice. Oh, there we go. Splendid.
But its lane discipline and its mirrors and signal for exit are bang on.
After 400 yards, keep left, then go right on the roundabout and take the fourth exit.
His exit signal off this dual carriageway is again mistimed, and he signal moves, or actually moves and signals.
Keep left, then go right on the roundabout and take the fourth exit.
On this particular one, I'm going to let it go because of the roadwork. But this is a habit you want to kick.
After 200 yards, go right on the roundabout and take the fourth exit.
Lovely little longabout.
Go right on the roundabout and take the fourth exit.
On this roundabout, Mike doesn't apply a signal until he's about halfway round. He should have had a signal on the approach. Again, he lets go of the steering wheel, but this time we're not moving.
Some when you do the little automatic thing, the brake pedal goes
You can feel it, can't you?
in a bit, but
Could you feel it today? You felt
not
it?
as much as
Yeah.
another one. My dad's got
Yeah.
one which you can feel it more when you
Yeah.
press the automatic camber.
You don't like it?
It's okay. I've got to get used to it in the technology now.
I've got to be honest, I do like the electronic handbrake.
Yes. I test drove one car I was looking to buy that had an auto sort of set, if that makes sense. So as soon as you stopped, it automatically put it on rather than having to lever it.
There is a little bit of grey area when it comes to signals on roundabouts like this, and I don't think it's impacted anybody, but it is a bit messy. He then positions well for the exit.
Take the exit, then take the motorway.
We're now going to be heading down onto the M1 south.
I don't think that's a parking space.
His signal to exit is also a bit late, but he's not going to confuse anybody here. His signal for entering the motorway is also very late. It's right as he's about to merge onto the motorway.
After 500 yards, you have reached your destination on your left.
Okay, so when that finishes,
Yeah.
I will be directing you as normal.
There isn't really anybody there to affect, but his signal should have come on much earlier. What follows is a good progress drive on the motorway. On the main, he maintains a good following distance from the vehicles in front and good lane discipline in the left-hand lane. The only issue he has is, again, when he's changing position or changing lanes, he again signal moves. There's zero impact and there's nobody there whatsoever, but if you're going to be teaching this, you need to be teaching use of signal properly.
Okay, so we're going to be coming off at this next junction, okay?
This exit takes us onto a slip road which takes us back onto the A41, and again, his signal to enter the dual carriageway is very late. This time there is a vehicle there. This unfortunately would now escalate to a serious for signal timed. Mike initially does well. He reduces speed nicely for this sharp bend. But as we go over this bridge, the slip road approaches. And either he sees it late because the sun is in our eyes, or he just mistimes his signal. But he should be able to see the traffic. There is absolutely no problem with his observation at all. He just needed to apply the signal much earlier.
Okay, so at the roundabout, we're going to be following the road ahead to the first exit.
Okay.
Or first exit.
Mike now makes a mistake with his positioning. He goes to take the middle lane, he then asks me where we're going, I remind him first exit, and then he moves back to the left, interfering with the vehicle behind.
Still round.
First exit.
It's not a major impact, but he definitely slowed the vehicle down. So this is a serious fault for mirrors, change of position.
There's cameras.
The vehicle then comes past us, and I apologise to them. It is possible they were just staring at us because we're covered in cameras, but he definitely was staring at us.
Okay, so at the second set of traffic lights,
Yeah.
we're going to be turning right, okay? Which is an approximately sort of 400 yards.
Oh, good.
Mike does well here. It's heavy in traffic, but he checks his mirrors, signals in good time, and moves across into the right-hand position.
So just that's it.
And when the space opens up, into the right-hand lane. A little further up the road, and after a couple of junctions, I ask him his first show-me question on the move.
And just when it's safe to do so, if you could put your rear demister on for me, please.
Yeah.
Nice, thank you. And then if you could just take this next road on the right for me, please.
All right. Yep.
Again, his mirrors are out of sync, but he does check his mirrors. And then shortly after this turn, we're doing the second maneuver, the reverse parallel park.
And if you could just pull over on the left, just by that tree there for me, please. Very nice. So we're going to do the reverse parallel part using that car there. I'd like you to pull up next to it and then reverse the car back in, finishing off reasonably close to and parallel to the curb.
Okay.
Within 2 car lengths. Do you understand the 2 car lengths of space?
Yes.
So don't leave any more than one space between you.
Yeah,
okay?
fine.
And in this instance, treat the drop curb as if it's a normal curb.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much.
Mike does well here. He does good all-round observation as he moves off and full effective observation while he's performing the manoeuvre. The only comment I would make is he seems to check his shoulder as the car swings out, just after I do. I don't know whether it's a prompt, but either way, his observation was enough. The control, he also finishes off in the correct position.
Fantastic. Done? Yes? Brilliant. Okay, drive on when you're ready.
There's not much left of this test, but we're going to jump forwards to the next show me question on the move.
And just when it's safe to do so, if you could just open a side window for me, please. That'll do.
There is now only the emergency stop to do, but unfortunately, Mike is bursting for the
If
toilet.
we could just find somewhere to pull up on the left in a safe place.
Yeah.
Just beyond this red car here somewhere.
He does stop partially on a drop curb, but I did tell him to pull up here, so in this case, it's just fine.
I need a pee.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right, well listen, we're almost done.
Yeah.
We're now going to perform the emergency stop exercise.
Fine.
I'd like to bring the car to an immediate abrupt halt and full control. My signal will be stop.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be making sure it's nice and safe behind us.
Fine.
Drive on when you're ready.
It's very likely that he was way too distracted and probably not wanting to brake heavily at all, considering he's bursting for the toilet, but he just simply didn't brake hard enough.
End of the road here, turn left, please.
If you do this on your part 2, or even potentially on your driving test, this could be a serious fault for promptness for the emergency stop.
And stop. Thank you very much. I won't ask you that again. Drive on when you're ready.
The rest of it was good though. He secured the car and then does good all-round effective observation before moving away. That's pretty much the end of the test. I rush him to the toilet and then we do the debrief.
After that little pit stop,
Yeah. Splash and dash.
splash and dash.
Yeah. That's like get fuel and go.
I like it. I like it. Pass or fail?
Oh, God. Well, I went into this thinking there's a likelihood I probably will fail. It probably made me more relaxed knowing that and just about the mindset. But I don't think it was a bad drive. I'm probably going to say fail, but I think I was only a few over.
Okay.
Could be wrong. Could be
Okay.
serious and just automatic fail. But
Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. Also, perspective and understanding of where we think we're at
Yeah.
as well is really important. Again, I said I was going to start off with some positives.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you now you failed that.
yeah.
Okay, it's fine. I want to put you out of your misery.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You failed.
sure.
I will go through with you the reasons why and some of the things that you can start to put into practice immediately
Yes.
that would eradicate some of these issues.
Yes.
Okay, but positives. Really good control of the car.
Yeah.
I think overall you control the car. You've never driven this car before.
No.
We had the mild hybrid system on.
Yeah.
It didn't interfere with you once.
No.
I thought you did really well with that.
Yeah.
I did ask you at the beginning, like any question, like if there was anything that you needed to know about the car, questions about the car.
Yeah.
There is something called precautions before starting the engine.
Okay.
Yes, and precautions before you start the engine is quite often you'll see people saying you should wiggle the gear shift and check that your handbrake's on. Yeah, but it's more than that. You're driving a car. You go to hire a car. You want to know how to operate some of the controls. That windscreen wiper thing came on.
Yeah.
You had no idea to switch it off.
Yeah.
No idea how to switch it off.
I saw that. I didn't know there was one on the end.
Yeah,
Should've
no,
looked at
it's
it, yeah.
fine. It's fine, but it does highlight.
Yeah.
Now, when you go to do a part 2, you'll probably be doing it in your car.
Either my car or my old man's. Yeah.
Are you incredibly familiar with that vehicle?
My car, yes. His, no.
But you want to make sure that you are. So
Yeah.
in case anything like that occurs, it doesn't go against you.
Agreed.
Do you know what? From where you're starting from,
Yeah.
it's not a bad position to be.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would take that as a big positive, okay?
No, yeah.
And if I was seeing you on your first session, which is what I would normally see you
Yeah, I know.
at, yes?
It's kind of backwards, but
where we do
we'll
the
make it work.
training before you go in and do a mock. I'd be saying good stuff about what you need to do. And I'm not surprised some of the stuff that's come up today would come up because it would come up in the first session.
I expected things to come up, but just wanted to get,
Okay, I want to talk about some of the little things that you need to eradicate from your driving immediately. You let go of that steering wheel, I don't know how many times. I'm going to say minimum 3, possibly 4 times.
Okay.
While the vehicle is moving.
Okay.
Now, it's not such a major issue when you're stationary.
Yeah.
But if the vehicle is moving, what is it recommended in the highway code or in driving essential skills where your hands should be?
That's a control issue.
Yeah. I mean, you're driving a manual, right? So you have to take one hand off in order to change gear.
Yeah.
But the other hand should be where?
On the wheel.
And when you can, how many hands should you have on the steering wheel? It's possible that an examiner on the day may let some of it go, but every time I see it, I'm going to fault you for it.
Yeah.
There is a slight issue with your steering as well occasionally, which we're going to have to talk about. I asked you, I think I was talking to you, I spoke to you, and you spoke to me back, and you kind of look at me as well. The car starts drifting, and it shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yes? So it's one of those things where I always tend to try and be as quiet as possible.
Yeah.
I'm bringing in a little bit of confidence because I do feel that it doesn't help to make you guys relax a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's always the danger that conversation is going to have an impact.
Should have lied.
Well,
But
ultimately,
just going forward.
who's responsible for the control of the vehicle? Me. The mirror work as well. When it comes to a mock test with a learner driver, if they're doing their mirrors and signal and their mirrors is either happening after it or it's slightly disjointed, like they're checking that one, whatever. It can go down as not noteworthy.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few of them that I would put down as not noteworthy, but it's happening a little bit too often. Also your signals. You've got this thing of where you signal move. You're already moving and the signal comes on. Is anybody going to get benefit from that signal?
No, because there's no one behind me. I checked.
So even if there's no one behind you, the thing is it's a habit.
Yeah.
You've got a habit of signal moving.
Yeah.
So the question is more that I'm asking you is not whether there's somebody there. If there was somebody there, would they get any benefit from it? If they see you already starting to move and then your signal comes on, when you're exiting the slip road, coming off the slip road onto the dual carriageway, the timing of the signal, like when should that signal be?
I think.
Well, it was almost non-existent. The emergency stop. You are bursting for the toilet. I don't know if you can remember when you did an emergency stop when you passed your test.
Oh, when I passed my test.
Did you do one on your test?
I don't think I did.
Can you remember that far back?
No.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
You would need to do at least one with a trainer.
Yeah.
It wasn't prompt enough. It wasn't an emergency, but you're bursting for the toilet. But if you did your emergency stop like that, I'm going to give you a serious fault.
Yeah.
Okay, it just wasn't prompt enough. The reverse bay park, first manoeuvre.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reverse parallel park,
Yeah.
I thought was all right. You did all your observations. I can't say, your shoulder checks.
Yeah.
When the car swings out, you see me do it and then you do it. I want it to be a little bit more you doing it rather than me doing it. Does that make sense?
Then, but
well, it just...
Or looking past you.
You will see in the video, you'll see me do that, and then straight away afterwards, you do that.
Okay.
It is a clear indicator. If I'm doing it, when you're thinking, well, he's doing it, I should be doing it.
Yeah,
Maybe you're
when
not
it
thinking about
swings
me.
out,
It may not be. Okay, it could be there. But when you did the bay park, you started it, you swung out, you got quite close to the vehicle in front, it's fine, doesn't matter, just a bit close. And then we started reversing back and there was no right blind spot. There wasn't anybody there.
Yeah.
It is possible that will go down as a driver fault. But I'm looking at you as a PDI in training. There's no way I'm passing you on a part 2. But your parallel part was good, so it shows that you kind of know what you're doing. I might take a little bit of responsibility for this because I don't think my route direction was very good. Okay, so at the roundabout, we're going to be following the road ahead to the first exit.
Okay.
Or first exit. We were on the A41.
Yes.
National speed limit. We're going back into Mill Hill.
Yes.
I said at the roundabout, follow the road ahead to the first exit. I did say follow the road ahead to the first exit, okay? So you did know it was the first exit. You started to move to the middle lane. I then repeated, and this is where I said first exit.
Still around?
First exit. Did you see me wave at somebody when there's somebody next to us and he was looking?
You waved at someone, yeah.
I waved at somebody, it was this driver. So he was quite close behind you and he was going ahead as well. And because you started to drift across, he started to get closer. You then pulled the vehicle straight back in front of him. I wouldn't have expected you to pull the vehicle back at that stage.
Okay.
You'd taken the middle lane. You still could have gone ahead. It just wasn't the designated lane for that ahead.
Yeah.
But you still could have done it. But you came across and he was quite close. And that's kind of why I acknowledged him. What should we be doing? If we find ourselves in the wrong lane, okay, and there's loads of content on this. We find ourselves in the wrong lane.
You carry on. And then turn around when you can in a small side road or a roundabout available.
Yeah, and even in this situation, it wouldn't have affected you.
Yeah.
And also, when we went on to the national speed limit, you were driving about 40 miles an hour for a little while.
Yeah.
You didn't know that it was national speed limit. You then figured it out. Yeah. You are a good driver.
Yeah.
Have you got what it takes to do this within your driving? Yes.
I think so as well, yeah. I do.
This has been Mike's Part 2 test. I hope it's been of value to you. I, again, always hope it's been of value to you.
It will be for sure.
If you get any value from this video, obviously hit that like button, subscribe if you like more content, and I will see you in the next one. Get well out.